Blake,
What is up? What is
night
up, man?
for the first time in Austin, Texas. Coming live. What is up, dude?
Dude, what's up, man? What's up? How you doing?
Man, last time we got to do this, we were together in Florida, had a good time. It was a good show, man. A lot of fun, man. Good to see everybody out. Share the link, man. Comment. Let's just chill. What's up, Mr. Patron? What's up?
Yo, what up,
baby?
Adam? What's
Man,
going on?
I don't know about you tonight, but Blake, I feel like just being mean and absolutely calling people out, man. We've seen a lot of bull crap. By the way, this show is sponsored by Lucas Oil.
Oh yeah. Dude, Lucas Oil been catching some heat. Old Toddy P putting it on him. See my boys over there on
some of y'all might get that, some of y'all might not.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, James, Jerry, John? What's going on, guys? But I just feel like, man, there's a lot of stuff just been chattering about, man. I guess it's a slow time, man. People have nothing else better to do than kind of hold themselves up to a higher standard.
Nah, man, this is one of my favorite times during the kayak season. Everybody has been taken down a peg. They've all gone to a tournament and sucked. Now they're just being mean. They're looking. They're just picking on Lucas Oil. We don't use.
There's two times out of the year where anglers just get this like real fuzzy, like sharp stick up their butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's now, and it's also the fall, the late fall, when everybody's like burned out. You know what I mean? And people just get grumpy. You know what I mean?
Yes. But, yeah, the fall one is weird because half the anglers are so burnt out from doing national trails, and then the other anglers, like their local trail ended, so they're kind of grumpy because the trail's over and they're not fishing. So just everyone's in a horrible mood in the fall. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, there is a burnout factor, you know, in fishing, man. I mean, you travel thousands of miles, and then you do the math when it's all said and done. And I would say 90% of the anglers lost a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts. Sign me up.
You
I hope I can write that off on my taxes.
And let me just say this: their sponsorship hopes that they were thinking that was going to come in all year never came in. You know, Lucas Oil never paid the bills.
I mean, or you get sponsors and then you don't have to. I mean, I see tons of guys that have sponsors that aren't cashing checks. So,
you know, they get these replies from these sponsors are like, well, Blake here, man, you finished 37th, 48th, 67th, and your Tourney X stats say like you're the best angler in the country. What's up?
And to that, I would say that's better than half the other people you sponsor that also kayak fish. Thank you. That's what I would say to that resume right there.
This doesn't match your proposal, Blake.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on, you know, I mean, oh my gosh, dude. But yeah, man. I mean, so what's up, man? I mean, are you settled down? I mean, you know.
Yeah, I was like, let me holler at the people and give y'all a little general update on what's going on.
For sure.
Went to Florida, did my training for my new job, started my new job. It's going fantastic. So everybody that reached out, thank you. Appreciate that very, very much. Brooke and I are almost all moved down. We have the last moving truck coming this weekend to get the house cleaned out.
Right on.
And our Dallas house will be on the market. I got to hang out with the Allen brothers last weekend, which was always such a good time, man. Clifton and John Allen, those guys are a blast. I got super drunk, threw up.
Congratulations.
So, you know, I really went hard for the boys.
Nice.
In terms of tournament fishing, what am I going to be doing? I really don't know yet, guys. I'm trying to figure that out with the job.
What's up, Steven, Doug Wilson, everybody? What's going on, man? Just sit back and chill and hope you enjoy the show tonight, man. It's really just kind of a catch-up show. And as I said in the beginning, we just feel like being mean, man. We just come out and just start blasting. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
You know what I mean? That's fact.
Yeah. And so, you know, I don't know what, like, next on my tournament schedule is supposed to be Broken Bow. I mean, well, there's been like 5 that I've missed, but man, life just comes at you fast, bro. And like right now, I can't fish. I do have my kayak with me. So, you know, hope to get started here sooner than not, but I don't really know, man.
So I have a question for you, man. I mean, speaking of Broken Bow and Hobie, dude, why all the big openings in Eufaula?
Conrad signed up?
Maybe. I mean, dude, like it was okay. So, explain this phenomenon. Explain this phenomenon, okay? And I'm going to call it phenomenon. We all know Hobie does a great job. And I'm not calling out Hobie. I think they do a fantastic job of fishing. I love them.
Yeah, same.
But it was kind of like follow the leader thing. It was cute for a while where everybody like signed up in 5 minutes, 8 minutes. And then the reality of it is the gas prices happened. You know, it's like, oh, did I get buyer's remorse? I really can't go. And the next thing you know, they've got like 15 to 20 openings and they're trying to fill it. I mean, it'll still fill up. Don't get me wrong. But don't you think that was kind of like a phenomenon? You know what I mean?
Let's just call it what it is. I mean, the thing that was going on with Hobie, it was a fire sale. I mean, you almost had to sign up, not even knowing if you could go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
right. It's just sign up and we'll figure it out where the chips may fall later, right?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, you know, I'm probably going to have to withdraw from Broken Bow, and like I don't know what part of my money I'll get back from that. I'm not really that concerned about it.
You're not giving any money back,
and that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. That's the double-edged sword of getting signed up early, but I do want somebody else to be able to go fish it.
Sure.
And so, you know, I'm going to withdraw my name
from that. They'll still get 200 at you follow, and you know what? Let's call it what it is. Conrad Benetti is actually going to fish a live event outside the state of Florida. I mean, all eyes on Conrad, right? It's Conrad versus Ryan. That's what I saw. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's like a throwdown or something like that. Do you think Ryan Lambert gives a crap what Conrad Benetti does? No chance.
I'm not sure. I'm sure he does, because if Conrad shows out, that'd be
if Conrad wins. If Conrad wins, you follow and you know, it strikes lightning.
Yeah.
We get kayak fishing back where it was like 2019, 2020. You know, where all hell breaks loose, and you know, we got, you know, freaking, you know, just chaos everywhere.
There'll be some memes, yeah.
It'll be so fun to watch.
Yeah. There'll be memes. I'm excited for Conrad, and I'm really happy he signed up. He's going to go do that. I think, you know, with KUBT, that's what we want you guys to end up doing. Like, KUBT is great. It's a classic, like, you know, one-on-one. It's a lot of fun to fish, but it's not for my money. And I think the fish national tournaments will find this out. Like, it is very hard when you're competing against 200 people on the same day.
Can we put this to bed? Look, I own KBBT.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the founder, creator, whatever. No chance any angler can ever state, I don't care how great they think they are, no chance any angler is going to hold KBBT and a win of KBBT in the likeness and fashion of a live event with 200 anglers. Yeah. You cannot put those two together. Like,
it's not the same. They're two different things.
BK, you cannot say, Blake, you cannot say that you are a better angler by winning a KBBT event compared to somebody who has done live events and consistently won over and over and over again. You can't do it. You can't compare the two. It's a different pathway.
No, they're not comparable.
They're not comparable.
They're not.
We've been fighting this fight for like 3 years. And I'm telling you, as the owner of KBBT, it was an avenue. It's still an avenue of people who cannot travel, cannot do tournament series, cannot, you know, go out there and spend the kind of money, time, and effort to go out and try and make the national travel deal. Let me give you a little secret, guys. Here's the deal. Here's the inside of kayak fishing. Okay, let's take the stats from KBF. Okay, they've got 40,000 members now. There's 40,000 members in kayak bass fishing. Okay, this includes recreational. This includes Joe Schmo just picked up a kayak, wants some information. This includes anybody who wants to go saltwater fishing. They want to go, I mean, you know, the whole realm. I'm sure all those people kind of mixed in. Only 8% of the 40,000 are active tournament anglers. God. Only 8%.
Wow.
Okay. So it's funny that, you know, all these TDs and all these, you know, tournament series and all this stuff are fighting over, let's say, a pot of 3,800 tournament anglers across the nation. Now, of that, which is maybe 1,000 of those are active national tourney fishermen. Okay, that's it. And, and it recycles. The rest are local club members, local, kayak fishing. Again, can't going around. So as the KBFs, the Hobies, and the Bass, they focus on the aggregate of kayak fishing. In reality, they're fighting over the same 1,000 people, okay, to come get to their series. KBBT is worried about the other people, like the rest of the 9,000 that are eligible to be able to, not travel, but have a competitive edge and want to, have fun and all that stuff. And that was why KBBT was even created. You know what I mean? And it also was created at the time of COVID, where no one could go out and travel and do all the things that we're able to do now. And, it filled that void. I love it. I think head-on-head competition in the bracket atmosphere and, like March Madness and everything else is fantastic. But
it's fun.
Sit there and say that you are a better angler because you made it through a bracket at your home waters compared to somebody else. Man, come on. Let's be real. Let's be real, right?
Not apples to apples.
It's not. It's a great tournament series. I love it, man. I mean, I own it. I love it. I love fishing in it. But you can't compare the two. And that's been the fight. I've seen this fight and debate for like 3 years, man.
Yeah.
And I just shake my head because, I'm seeing some of these comments and some of these things, and they're comparing this and comparing that. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, let's get real. Let's get real.
Yeah, but on that point, like Conrad putting his money where his mouth is, his time,
he did.
Effort, and like I'm super happy to see that. Another guy that has done very well in KBT that is kind of, I don't know, used that momentum and has become just a great tournament angler. He's starting to win some local stuff in Texas.
Caleb.
Taking it national this year is my boy Suit, man.
Yeah, Jason Campbell, Caleb, and all. I mean, look, it's a great way to learn too, man. Like, because when you're under the pressure and you're making decisions and you're trying to win, even though it's head-to-head competition, it's still competition. And like the greatest thing about fishing and tournament fishing is the people who win make tournament winning decisions when it counts the most.
That's
right?
facts. That's facts.
Yes. And I mean, how many times have I got spun out when I made a terrible decision, one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped for Conrad, man. Like, not only that, it's a 2-day tournament, which, like, that's a grinder, man. Like, I mean,
well, no, Sherman Bishop went. He's going to Eufaula as well. I'm looking for those guys. I mean, look, here's the deal too, man. It's time for the Florida boys put up or shut up, man.
Oh,
outside Florida, they're in Alabama.
Florida.
It's time. Look, we've heard it for years. Florida guys can't fish outside Florida. Well, let's see what you got, man.
They're going to be right at home on Eufaula with the Gators.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's tons of Gators at Eufaula.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for that tournament, man. I really am. Like, I know it's ways out, but I think Eufaula is going to be a really good event for Hobie. Pro tip: don't fish in the marinas. There you go. Just for you guys going there.
Read the signs.
In case you can't read.
Read the signs. If it says restricted, if it's a big red restricted sign,
don't fish there.
Don't
do that.
Don't put your head down and say you didn't see it.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Pro tip.
Yeah.
Just that's it. Pro tip.
And if that's the case, don't fail your lie detector. Oh, that's
Oh God, no! Don't listen to Greg. Don't do that. Stephen Bell, man, what's up? It fishes the same as Florida waters. I mean,
cool.
It might.
Wow.
Couldn't tell you. I haven't fished it.
Yeah. Wow.
Have not fished it.
Wow. Well, can we talk about the last event that just happened here in my backyard? I didn't get a chance to fish.
Oh yeah, the Potomac, man.
Potomac, man.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
For most, it was a crap show.
Yeah.
And for some, it was a golden pop. And once again, here's what's frustrating about it. This date was supposed to be on the 23rd, right? In 2 weeks.
Yep.
And they moved it, like basically they didn't even announce it. They just moved it. And, I come to find out I had a scheduling conflict. I was very disappointed I couldn't make it because, I was all expected it to be on the 23rd. Next thing you know, it's moved up to April 9th. And I'm sitting there going, what? Me and Derek Brundle were talking about it. I'm like, yeah, they moved this date, like straight up. Like we knew that, we both had it penciled down for the 23rd. And I planned on fishing it and hosting it and barbecuing with some of the guys and everything else coming down.
Yep.
And you know, it was disappointing because I knew I was going to be in Florida at that time for my daughter's prom.
Oh, how was that, man?
It was great, man. They look fantastic. Oh my god, they look fantastic. They had, you know, both of them just looked great and had a good time in their life. So very cool.
That's awesome.
But
Awesome. Glad to hear.
so anyway, you know, I thought the Potomac event this year was early. I think it was real early, and I think it was too early because, in like beginning of April here, you're still dealing with like mid 40 water temps. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
the bass just don't, you know, they're scattered all over the place. And I was surprised at the numbers that really came out for Saturday. Ryan Nye actually wound up winning it. Fished a pretty well-known area, and those fish moved in and caught 92 inches, man. Really surprised me. It was all pre-spawn for sure. No red tails. None of that stuff was done yet. But that was a solid bag, man. You know, 92 inches. But if you look through that list, it fell off pretty hard from there. And then Sunday, it was just like, it was terrible. You know what I mean? For most of the field, you know,
Right.
The wind was blowing out, you know, cold. I think it was like 38 degrees when they launched. The water temps were in the low 40s and then gradually kind of moderately moved up in temperatures throughout that time. But I mean, scheduling that event this early in April.
Okay. Hold on. Because we came on this show and talked about how much we hate them chasing the spawn.
Yeah.
And we talked about like
but
more pre-spawn tournaments.
But this is not even pre-spawn, dude.
I wish there was a winter series, man.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't catch fish when it's cold. You just don't get as much feedback, and there's not as many filler bags. I mean, the bags can still be impressive at the top. I mean, shit, look what happened at Fork.
Yeah.
When we fished it. I mean, that was super pre-spawn. It was crazy cold, and Garrett Morgan put the freaking hammer down, man.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. But dude, if you're going to showcase the Potomac River in particular, okay, that 2-week window where it was originally planned would have been a bullseye. Would have been a bullseye.
Yeah, I'm being a little devil's advocate here, but also, you know, we've been pretty harsh on a lot of the scheduling. Chasing the spawn. We're all fishing the same bodies of water in Florida.
The spawn doesn't start until usually May here.
Yeah, and so
it would have been perfect pre-spawn conditions.
Yeah, but I mean that's hindsight, right?
But I mean, but again, like I don't understand the schedule change or the need for it. You know what I mean? I didn't understand it.
I mean,
you know, when it was originally planned for the 23rd, which would have been perfect. You know.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I mean, talked to a lot of anglers. They didn't have a good time here. You know, they did not have a good time. I mean, it was blown out again. So it's just, it's part of it, man. You know, it's just how this river system works, man. You know?
Yeah. I mean, ask them boys if they had fun at Fork.
No.
No. I mean,
no.
It just happens sometimes like that. But I mean, the fish are there. Like, if you can't catch them, I mean, somebody will. Somebody will.
No.
I mean,
I hear you. I hear you. It's just it was an interesting decision to say the least. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, I mean, but you know, like I felt that way at Toledo Bend. I was like, God, dude, this wind sucks. No one's gonna catch them. Like it's just, and then they caught them. And then at Santee, it's like wind is ripping, and a dude goes out there and rips 108 inches day 2.
Yeah.
It's like someone's gonna catch them, boy. Like it don't.
It
don't matter.
I get it, man. But again, I mean, you want to have a tournament where everybody at least. Okay, look, me and Doug Wilson were talking about this. Okay. Little inside baseball. Tournaments are more than just catching fish. Tournaments are about the experience itself, right? Tournaments are. Water temps are still in the early 50s, but still a week or two early. Agreed, Mike. 100% agreed. Tournaments are not okay. When you go to a tournament, you go to an area, like you travel, you want the overall experience of that area to be enjoyable. Okay. That includes weather, that includes the restaurants, that includes the camaraderie, that includes the hotel or campground that you're staying at, the whole shebang, right?
Yes.
You want to feel like, as an angler, as a tourist, the amount of money that you're spending, not only in the tournament series, but also around the area, is worth you putting that time and effort into going, correct?
Yes, I
If
agree with
you
you.
knowingly choose a time to where it's not the greatest time to fish, it's not the greatest time for weather, it's not the greatest time for all these different things. Spring break was happening for some at that time too.
Right, right.
If you knowingly go into tournaments and you don't factor in all that, then you're not providing the value to the angler. Okay. And I'm talking about extrinsic value, meaning things other than just catching a 5 pound limit. Okay.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. When these guys coming in and they're not having a good time because of all these factors, then that's more of a planning thing. You know what I mean? From an overall tournament experience.
Okay. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm just going to use
Like Doug said, value.
Yeah, and I'm going to use my experience when I've traveled to different lakes, regardless of their reputation. You know which lakes I like and which tournaments I say were good? The ones where I caught fish.
Yeah.
Like, it totally works.
Sure. It does. Because ultimately that's what you're there to do, right?
I went to Caddo.
I'll disagree. I'll disagree with you on this condition. I went to Santee Cooper.
Yeah.
Sucked fishing. I caught 3 fish the entire tournament. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed every bit of it.
Went to Caddo. That night we had like a tornado. I got drunk, slept in my truck, woke up the next day, caught fish. Great time. Love Caddo.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the scenery. I didn't any of it. Like, it was just that fishery is amazing. Like, you go out, you're in the swamp, like you feel like you're in nature when you do that. Versus, like other tournaments I've been to, like Broken Bow, you go there, it's a Highland reservoir, it's a very cool town, cool little scene. Hated it. Sucked. I just did not enjoy that tournament. Right. And that wasn't any fault to Hobie. Like, if the weather had been better, I probably would have been like, oh, okay, Broken Bow's great, but like I just didn't catch them because like that was on me. Like, I figured it out. And I just think that plays more of a part of like the value we're talking about than people want to admit. Like, when you don't do your homework, you show up and you feel like, oh, I'm just going to catch them, and you don't catch them. You're like, I just spent all this money and this sucked and this, that, and the other. And like that's not a fair representation of like the area you went to or the lake.
I agree. Look, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of these tournament directors, they're all, working with tourism bureaus. Sometimes they get kickbacks from the tourism bureaus and all this other stuff. And, they're trying to, get heads in beds and provide the overall experience.
Yes.
Tourism bureaus, their job is obviously to promote their area and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's all about value. Like, did the angler, even though he didn't cash a check, did he have a good time or did she have a good time?
Yeah.
Was the overall experience great? I will say 99% of the time when I go fish Hobie, it's 100% yes. Okay.
Yes.
I will tell you with bass, it's not.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
At KBF, it's about 50-50. That's the God's honest truth. And guys, you can't tell me that I haven't experienced, because I have traveled in the last 2 years over 100,000 miles to go fish tournaments. That's the God's honest truth. I was gone for 2 months. So I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's something that I think, the fisheries are important. Okay. Like you said, catching the bags are important. And it does influence the overall experience, but choosing good fisheries, choosing good locations, and choosing, great areas like Guntersville, man. I love Guntersville. It's more about it's not just about the lake. It's the area. It's the people. It's the food. It's the everything. You know what I mean? It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, okay, last year with Hobie, we fished a super flooded Sam Rayburn. I mean, grossly flooded, 13 feet outside, over the bank. I mean, it was a wild tournament just because of the access to the lake. But tons of guys went there that caught fish, and they had so much fun exploring all this backwater and all that stuff. But like, I mental boomed that tournament. I mean, I I was like, I am not having a good time. And like, I like Rayburn,
Right.
but like, I just feel like,
but that's a natural condition, right? I mean, that's something that can't be controlled. That's an act of God, so to speak.
and I'm not
You know what I mean?
blaming Hobie on that. What I'm saying is that even though like the lake was messed up, if I had gone there and just taken care of my business and figured out what the fish were doing, I would have been like, that was such a sick tournament. I got to fish Rayburn when it was that flooded. I got to
Right.
fish this backwater. I was catching fish 20, 50 yards back in the trees.
Right.
Like, and people had that experience. I just didn't get that experience. So I was saying so much of it is linked to, did you do your homework? Did you figure it out?
Sure.
And like that adds a huge part of value to these tournaments. And I hear so many guys go and they struggle. Like,
what's up, Jason Willis? Welcome, man. Welcome.
Like possibly at the Potomac, like those guys that heard the Potomac was great. Well, like, did you know it's a tidal fishery? Did you look at the tide chart the whole week? Like, I mean,
how much homework
did you?
Like I said, and Mike, Mike's the TD for NVKBA. It was early. It was early, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tad early. It was a tad early. Like 2 weeks from today, or 2 weeks from last weekend would have been, I'm telling you, perfect. You know what I mean? I think this is the earliest I've ever seen anybody on the Potomac.
Yeah, but okay, so like Greg, you fish that river all the time.
All the time.
You see a tournament.
I've been on this river twice since I've been home, and it's been garbage.
Yeah, so like, but you see a tournament, it's scheduled earlier, it's a little colder. Like for those of us that don't fish tidal fisheries, like what do you start looking at? Like what is immediately out of play knowing that water temp?
Anything shallow.
Well, and how many guys do we know that just go into tournaments and just beat the bank?
I mean, like a lot of these guys are going to the banks, and a lot of these guys are going, different places. I mean, you can't. They're not there. Right. I mean, you got to go, in the channels. You got to go deep. I mean, I'm talking about like 5 to 7 feet. But the problem is, dude, the wind was blowing so far out of the west. A lot of this water was getting blown out again, like it happened last year. There is no 5 to 7 feet. They're not. It's not there, and so your 5 feet becomes 3 feet, and then there's a battle with 50 yaks in the same creek for that 3-foot hole. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about, guys. I mean, this is, and everybody knows who's been in DC knows March and April, the worst times for winds. I mean, it just is, it's kind of like Florida. I mean, you don't fish Florida kind of like in February, you know what I mean? Like, or the end of December, because it's just like when everybody goes down to Kissimmee chain. Every year, the last 3 years, the weather has absolutely sucked. If they bump that date up to, let's say, right after New Year's or in between Christmas and New Year's, and they'll ever have that kind of week vacation, dude, the fishing is unbelievable in December in Florida. It's really, really great, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I cut my teeth red fishing. You always look like with anything tide related at like predominant wind over the week. Because you know where it's blowing the water out of, right?
Correct.
But like for me and you going to tournaments like that, like our experience is different because that's how we prep for it.
Yeah.
So many of these guys probably didn't look at that, didn't look at a tide chart.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, the Potomac sucks. It's like, well, I mean, does it suck, man? Like, or did you just literally think you were going to show up and just catch them because you catch them?
Well, okay. So I look at tournaments and their overall, and a lot of tournaments. We have seen this year, Blake, a lot of top heavy events. I look at Santee Cooper, for example. That was a very top heavy event, right?
Totally.
The first 3 knocked it out of the park. And then everybody else just freaking tanked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been every event I fished this year.
Exactly. It's been like that. It's kind of been a weird year in kayak fishing in that, even in pro fishing, man. I mean, even the professionals. I mean, it's been a very top heavy of events going on right now, man.
It's been extreme weather, man. I mean, every event I fished has been cold snaps. I mean, the fish are just acting weird.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what the solution is. I mean, but it's going to be interesting here coming up, man, because you've got a couple more tournaments. And then, basically, I think that basically the end of or mid-May to May, end of May, not a lot's going on, man. It's kind of like, other than the KFL, but not a lot in the tournament series is going on, man.
I mean, we talk about like, tournaments being too early and too cold and how crazy the weather's been, but man, I like it. I mean, it does not bother me when half the field skunks. because like it's tough. It doesn't bother me if I get 5 bites all day. I mean, Greg, I talked to you at my like Palestine event. I had 5 bites all day. I missed one, and that cost me 3rd place. But that's just how it's been, man. Like, and those tournaments are grinders, and like I think we all want these tournaments to be like, oh, I caught them every cast. I mean, and like that's just not how you win a tournament, anyways. Even when you catch 20 fish, it's 5 fish. You're fishing for 5 bites all day. So,
Blake, what do you think about Doug's statement here, man? Is there a case for a tournament ambassador? A guy puts on a deal to explain the ins and outs, tides, grass, camping, etc. Is that the job of the tournament ambassador? I say no.
No. I say no. Like, goodness, man. Like when we fished Toledo, if he had told everybody, like where grass was, I mean,
right. Yeah.
that cove was already crowded.
Well, I think he's talking about overall general information, like where can I find tide charts? Like where can I find camping grounds? Where can I find the best restaurants? Where can I find to make your overall experience better?
Yeah, so I think there's I think it would be nice if when you went to and sign up for a tournament, like with the email you get, if it had like a list of good restaurants or something like that. Like if they're working with the tourism bureau, which a lot of times they do, right? That'd be nice. But I don't think it should be anything fishing related.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you call me up and you want some advice on where to stay or whatever. I mean, I'll be happy to give it to you. Or if I was doing that, and likewise, I mean, if I travel, I don't have a problem calling up a local and say, hey, man, where's the best place to eat, or where's the best place to camp, or where's these boat ramps and all this other stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem doing it at all. I mean, I do a lot of my research by myself, especially when I first started traveling. But now we're kind of recycling these lakes over and over. You kind of get a feel where everybody, what everybody's doing and where everybody's at, So, but I mean, look, I'm just glad to be back. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just glad to be back fishing tournaments live in person, having in-person meetings, check-ins. That whole thing at Santee Cooper was fantastic, man. Yeah. Seeing everybody there and, being able to be in your, in the same room together and all that stuff, man. I was like, man, finally some normality, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, man. I got to go, fish a Hobie in a bass event this year. So very cool getting to just socialize. I mean, I can't believe we're to that point, but it felt good, man. Getting to see everybody, not having to do some virtual captain's meeting.
Yeah.
I disagree. If you don't catch, you don't go back. Community holes, generalization. Doug, man, I hear you on like trying to keep attendance up, but like that's not a thing. Guys want to fish them, and I think the mentality at that level is just a little bit different for the majority. Like Greg talked about, man, they're not appealing to the 98%. The guys that are traveling and are hardcore about it is less than 2%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a really small amount.
It's a small amount, yeah.
And from fishing against those guys, man, like you can't give them an inch. I mean, you even say something.
But these guys know going in. I mean, look, here's the deal. Like the ones who travel and have done this for quite some time, they already know what to do, man. They don't need any more information.
Right.
They already have the information. It's the new ones that are coming in. That need it.
Yeah, Doug, I think you're ramming your head against the wall here for me, man. I mean,
hardcore isn't fishing the community. I don't know what that means.
I think you're saying like the diehards don't fish it anyway, so appeal to the 98%. Like,
true. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just don't think that's even a thing because, like Greg just said about the Potomac event, a guy won it in a community hole.
Yeah.
And I just think
actually the top 3 were in a community hole.
Yeah. So the top 3 guys are in a community hole. They either use their knowledge or map study or whatever, if it's local knowledge, that's fine. But like, that's the advantage of because of their experience they put in, If you were to go to like a meeting and you were planning on fishing that, and they said, "Oh, by the way, here's a great spot. You should all go fish if you don't have anywhere else to go." Well, like, how would you feel if you're that guy?
Right.
So I just don't think that's a thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Well, dude, listen, man. Speaking of April 23rd coming up, man, dude, we got the KBBT National Championship coming up, man.
My man, that's gonna be
Let's go.
exciting.
Let's get signed up, y'all. If you're qualified, freaking sign up. What are you waiting on? Let's go. You know?
Love to see it. Susky registration Friday. Yeah, I'm sure the Susky will sell out, man.
Susky will 100% sell out. No doubt.
That event last year looked.
Yeah, that's a great event, man. But I'll say this, man. Something about the Susky that is overlooked is the damage that freaking river does on your kayak, man. I mean, it damages your kayak, dude. I mean, like especially if that water's down, especially I think in June is when it is. Like the end of June, I think it's when that tournament is. Dude, that water could be trickling and you're scraping the bottom. And I'm telling you, man, like you better be prepared for some like skin rash, man, because it's gonna happen. I'm like, you have to get out, walk, and drag your kayak and bank fish and all that stuff, man. The Susky can be very, very fickle, man, but it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like we need to get on the TD and Tourism Bureau to have them map out where you can cross and where you can't.
Well, they're very specific about the Susky, man, because there's some pretty dangerous places on the
I was going to say, I think that one's actually got quite a few barriers.
Yeah, there's some like 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot falls and some whirlpools and eddies and some pretty dangerous places you got to kind of watch out for. But all in all, it's a pretty cool river, man.
What's up, Bobby, man? What's up, Bobby? Big gun.
What's up, Bobby? Bob Brisky, all those.
Oh, yeah, man. Bob Brisky. Swamp donkeys up in here, man.
Yeah, swamp donkeys. Oh, by the way, swamp donkeys, man. They got their feelings hurt last night. They got their feelings hurt, man. I was getting messages like early this morning from the swamp donkeys about their feelings got hurt.
Uh-oh.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, during the KFL season,
nothing personal.
We'll have a little show on here for therapy, I guess. For anybody that's feeling attacked.
Yeah. It's all good, man. I mean, they're going to Coosa. They're going to be facing the Coosa Kingfishers at home, Neely Henry. I mean, historically speaking, you put Coley McGowan alone on that river chain and that lake. Good luck. I mean, good luck. It's going to be tough. I mean, so 15-point underdog against Coosa at home against Coley McGowan and Daniel Perry, the guys that know that river. It can be tough. It could be a very tough lake to fish. And if you don't know what you're doing, where you're going, and what to fish for, man, a lot of guys. A lot of teams came into Neely Henry last year, didn't even get a limit.
Yeah, Neely Henry. I was hoping we wouldn't see it on the schedule, if I'm being honest.
Are you saying it's a crap lake?
I don't want to see guys catching 14 and 13 inches, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Is there a ranking on the KFL teams yet? We can do it right now, bro.
in my brain. Yes.
We can do it right now. All right, let's talk about it. Let's do it. Let's talk about this real quick.
Okay. Well, can we pull the list up?
We absolutely can pull the list up. In fact, here's what we'll do. We will go to kflfishing.com and pull up the teams.
Woo! Hey, this is a good shout right there. That Shiner team is loaded. Huge get for the league. Amen, brother. It's good. But we shall see what their fishing schedule looks like and the teams they can field, because that is a busy bunch.
Can you see it?
I can. I can.
All right, so let's kind of scroll through. We've got to put the Maulers right up there, right?
The Maulers they're defending champs, and they added Adam Patron.
But in the odds show I did last night, I actually have Maniacs favored by 3 at home.
All right.
Yep.
I was like,
Tennessee Shiners.
Gotta be up there, dude. Picking up G, Christine.
Yep. There you go. Arkansas picked up Cody Milton.
Arkansas, man, with old G Morgan and Cody Milton, man, like they're putting together a little squad over there.
Okay, so let's rank. Let's just do top 10. Okay, we won't hurt some feelings, but let's do top 10. All right. I got to go Tennessee Shiners on paper, number one.
On paper, yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yes, on paper, they're the best squad.
Correct.
Most proven squad. Excuse me.
I'm going to go number 2, Massachusetts Maulers.
Ooh, nah.
Okay.
I'm going Bandits. Sorry.
Bandits. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm from Texas.
I'll just tell you though, the Bandits lost to Massachusetts in the championship, so
I know
that accounts for something.
I would say that. I have emotional damage.
Okay. Yeah. But Bandits are my number 3 team.
Yeah, and I got Maulers 3, so we just flip flop that.
No
just
problem.
Regional bias.
No problem at all, man. I've got the Slayers at number 4.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. I got Slayers number 4.
Okay. I was actually a little torn there because I like what Arkansas is doing.
Okay.
Arkansas too has like a kind of a tough region to fish in.
Yep.
In terms of like their lakes, they have very varied lakes, and I like that for their home schedule. Like I feel like that's a big home advantage for them.
Right.
And just being honest, their division outside of the Bandits, I got them too there. So I mean, they're like 4 or 5 for me.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go Coosa.
Okay. Yeah.
Coosa right there is my number 5 team.
Okay. I have Coosa like 4, 5, and 6 are kind of interchangeable for me. It's Coosa, it's the Hogs, and the team you said. Well,
okay, I've got Hogs number 6.
Okay, yeah. So we're right there. We're just a little flip flop.
Yep. And then my 7 team's going to surprise you. You ready for this?
Yep.
Rhode Island Rebels.
Oh, actually, I think they're good, man. I actually think they're good. I don't know if I'd put them 7, but I do have them top 10.
Yep. My number 8 team is going to be the Florida Copperheads.
I've got them lower.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. My number 9 team, it's going to be the Connecticut Renegades.
Yeah. So just in general, if there's like, sorry, Florida, you did it to yourself from your showing last year. It's just the northern teams travel well. I just think they travel well. And so like if they're kind of 50-50 for me, I kind of give the nod to the northern team.
I got you. My number 10 team, the Motor City Ambassadors.
Man, Motor City is kind of an anomaly. They had some real good games last year. They had a lot of close games, though.
Yep.
So I will say that they did not get blown out a ton.
Right.
I like them. I like them right around that spot.
Okay. Well, we pretty much agreed on a lot.
Yeah, I was like, we're right there. But again, this is just, some of the roster pickups, obviously the names associated with that, you look at that squad on paper, you think, man, that's a squad, but it's also like, how much will those players get to fish? Like the Lone Star is not starting Brian Howell every game, but so is Cody Milton going to fish every event for Arkansas? I don't know. A lot of it's dependent on that, but Arkansas has the talent, I think, to make some noise in that division this year. So should be exciting.
Right. So I got a question for you, man. This goes to professional bass fishing. Okay. The boat guys.
Okay.
Do you really care whatsoever or give a crap about MLF? Is MLF a thing?
You know how I feel about MLF.
Dude,
man.
who won Redcrest?
I have no idea. I do not like MLF.
I think it was Bobby Lane.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do not like MLF.
Yeah.
I am a 5 bass guy. I like that the best.
Is it time that we see consolidation and bass do what they can to just eliminate MLF, buying them out, get rid of Boyd Duckett, get rid of that whole mess that's going on over there, and the whole Red Crest thing, and the competition and everything else, and bring everybody back together under one umbrella. Everybody do 5 fish limit. Everybody has the pinnacle and looks at the Bassmaster Classic as the Super Bowl event of bass fishing.
I want that, man. I mean, I kind of hate, and I don't know if he ever would have won one, but I hate I've not seen Van Dam try to
What
go
happened
for
to Van
another.
Dam? Is he the? I mean, is he?
It's live scope, baby.
I mean, what happened to this guy?
The boy can't use
He
live
was
scope.
he was one of the greatest fishermen ever, and then he goes to MLF and can't put it together.
Man, I don't know. Look, I don't know, man. Like, all I'm saying is, since MLF's conception, like, they've tried to like raise the weight limits because we got tired of watching Jacob Wheeler catch 78 dinks and winning the event. But it still fishes like that to me. I mean, I just see that. Like, I don't even fish MLF kayak events because I think it's stupid. Like, I like best 5 fish. I mean, I'll even fish best 3 fish before I'll fish an MLF one. Like, I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to see guys rewarded for catching numbers. I want to see guys targeting big fish, man. Like, I like that. I mean, it's exciting when like people rip on him because of some of his finishes, but like I don't think I've ever been more vested in a tournament watching on Bassmasters than when I was watching Chris Zaldane, I think on Gunnersville, throw a flutter spoon at the end of the day.
Amazing.
It was like the last hour, and he had him so fired up, and he lost like 2 fish. That
was one of the best tournaments I've ever seen. That was
they couldn't break away from him. Like, they're just sitting there watching this dude just try to get one call with that giant flutter spoon, and I was just like,
I was enamored by that.
I mean, that's so, what I like seeing.
Here's the debate. Comment, guys, in the chat. See if you agree with us or disagree. Jason Christie is better than Jacob Wheeler. True or false?
Ooh, boy. In terms of just being a fan, I like Christie a lot better. I love watching that dude fish, man. What he does shallow is just insane. I don't know if I'd call him better than Wheeler, though. That's tough, dude. Like, Wheeler's all around so good. I don't love the guy personally, but man, he whacks him.
Yep.
He whacks him.
Wrong. False. Jake. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, I would love to see them all under the same umbrella.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you want to see, guys? Wouldn't you want to see a Jacob Wheeler take on a Jason Christie, same tournament, same event? You've got KVD, back in with Bass, and Scott Martin versus KVD, and that kind of I think it'd be great for bass fishing as a whole. And I'll be honest with you, here's my personal opinion. I think Bass Pro Shops, which was obviously a major contributor to bass fishing and Ranger boats and all that stuff, man, they've pulled a lot of their sponsorships away from professional bass fishing because I think corporately, I don't think bass fishing professionally has an idea of where the ship is going. I mean, you can't have 2 competitors like that going neck and neck and then overscheduling one another in 2 different formats and competing over the same guys. By the way, professional bass fishing from a viewership standpoint is very, very small. I mean, I think Sports Illustrated rated bass fishing as like the 99th most interesting sport according to fan votes. And, I mean, we love it because we're a part of it and we think it's God's greatest gift to sports.
Yeah.
But from the overall general public and everything else, they're fighting over a very minute portion of the pie. And I think it's hurting, the sport in general by having that. And then again, I think, trying to compete for the same endemic sponsors and, and the same, viewerships and everything else, if they consolidate somehow, some way, and be able to bring all that talent together, man, bass fishing would accelerate exponentially. And it also trickles down to kayak fishing. You know what I mean? It would.
Okay. I want to address something Bob Brisky brought up here in the chat. So he likes the format of MLF better because of like the catch and release. Dude, Bassmaster on fork, you can't tote your fish around. They put boat officials in, they weigh them.
Yeah.
Like, they can do that. That's not a
Yeah.
big deal. Like, we can totally switch that. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. And like, in terms of the metrics of who watches MLF, I think there are a lot of guys that casually watch MLF more because it's like higher action. And I think that's just in the Bassmaster coverage. I don't.
Correct.
And you know, like the Bassmaster, it is culling, you know, like it's not just like everything you catch counts. So the numbers are very inflated with MLF. Yeah. You're like, oh my God, he caught 84 pounds. Well, no, he caught like 12 pounds
right
for his best 5.
Right.
He just caught a ton of 2-pounders or 3-pounders, whatever. And
Jonathan said this, man, is it the same argument for KBF and Hobie? It's not. And the reason why it's not is because they're not, even though they're competing series, you're allowed to fish both. You're allowed to fish, you know, KBF events and Hobie events, and anglers can fish both sides of them and fish them. In MLF and Bass, you can't. You have to join a company and you're not allowed to fish the other side.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So yeah, that's why.
And so this is the part of it that I think if you're somebody that fishes tournaments, I think it's why MLF rubs me the wrong way. If you guys have done it in a tournament, when you call, that is like, God, that feels good. And when you said
John Cox did, yes, he did, but he was also reprimanded big time for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like you guys know, like you got 5 17-inch fish in there, and you're around 15, 16-inch fish. You're like, God, I can't call here. Like forces you to move. Or if you could sit there and just keep catching 15 and 16 inches, then you win the tournament like that. Like it's not the same feeling.
Right.
And when I'm watching those guys in the boats and I see them, like, it's just like when you lose an 8-pounder in a 5 bass limit tournament, that is like crushing. It's so crushing. And at MLF, you can lose those fish and it's just 4 2-pounders you lost. I mean, it's easy to make up. So that's what it builds the drama more for me in that sense.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I just I don't know. I mean, in a perfect world, they are 2 competing series. Again, it's just like anything else, man. Everybody thinks they can do it better, bigger and better, right? I think the problem is this. Let's just be honest. Bass, as an organization, makes a lot of money off the backs of their anglers, personally.
Yeah.
Right? Bass does it to us. Bass takes a pretty good portion out of the pot, and they take it for themselves, right? That rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And I think when you're spending $40,000, $50,000 a season, and your payouts are such to where you're paying, 20, 30% of the field, and and then you're basically given, like, here, like for instance, what happened in the Bassmaster Classic this year, for the kayak division. Eric Siddiqui won like 20 grand, right? To win the event. And second place was 2.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then they paid out 20 spots from there. That didn't make any sense to me. Why not pay out 10 spots and then pay more to second and third, and then, and incrementally go down? But again, they're taking 30% off the backs of the anglers. And I think the MLF guys got tired of that. And then the MLF they're not having to pay fees. They're fully sponsored. It's a fully sponsored series and all this other stuff. It's just weird, man.
Yeah, and I think the MLF guys, if I'm not wrong, I think they're salaried, right?
No, they're not salaried.
I think they do get a living wage from MLF.
Oh, they do. They get a guarantee.
I think so. Yeah,
that might be the case. But again, that's more of a sponsor-driven, kind of like the NFL or anything like that. It's more of a sponsor-driven pot than it is. Whereas Bass is just an angler-driven pot to where you can put in your fees and everything else, and then you have the open series and all that stuff, and it's all corporately grown up from there. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I do like the MLF like corporate structure in terms of like taking care of the anglers that way, but Bass has never done it that way ever.
No,
they've always done a angler sponsored pot plus a little bit on top from the sponsorships.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There we go. Yeah, man. I mean that's it's the unfortunate part. Like we want the anglers to be taken care of, but we also need them to not be so you get the best out of them. And I feel like we don't with MLF.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's just me, man. Like, I
yeah,
don't know. That's just
yeah,
me. But like in terms of like earlier, we were talking about like what happened to KVD. Dude, I don't know how good his deal is with MLF, but like Brandon Polinick has been like god tier since he came on the scene. He sucked at MLF.
right.
And he went back to 5, to Bass. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think he won 2 events I think it was 2 seasons ago. So it's like some guys just are not numbers guys, man.
Well, what makes a better angler though, man? Catching 5 big bass or catching more bass in terms of numbers? Like
For tournament anglers, it's 5 big bass. You want to go catch 20,
but now
10
according
inches?
to MLF, it's catching 100 2-pounders all day.
And what I'm saying is, you give me any day, hey Blake, you can go to the lake and catch 100 10 to 15-inch bass, or you can go there and catch 2 9-pounders, taking the 9-pounder every time.
Every single time. I don't know if you guys get on the water and you're like, man, I'm excited. I get to go out there and catch 20 15-inchers all day. I'm super excited. Or you go on the water and say, you know what, man, I have a potential to catch a double-digit bass today. I mean, which one are you going to go after? The double-digit bass, or are you going to go after the 20 15-inchers all day?
I mean,
to me, if you catch one 10-pounder and never catch a single fish the rest of the day, what are you talking about the most?
Yeah.
You catch a 10-pound bass. That's what makes the memories, man. That's what we're all after.
Like if you're fishing like beds, and you see a 10-pounder sitting on a bed, are you gonna be like, nah, I saw like 5 or 6 2-pounders over here, I better go do that? No shot. There's no way you're doing that. And if you say you would, you're lying. Sorry. You are a liar, sir.
Right. Yeah. There's no shot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like that's what makes tournament fishing to me so interesting is, when do you swing for the fence? Are you going to swing for the fence? Are you trying to get a limit? You have limit fish, you have kicker fish, and all that's important. Like when you have a limited bag, for me anyways. And like, I like that part of it, man.
Yeah, no, I do too. I do too, man. I do too.
I love that. I mean, God, dude, those like 1-2-inch calls you get during tournament feel so good. And then if you get like a 4 or 5-inch call, that's just, you're
huge.
Like, oh my God, man. Like I have a shot now, I mean, that's crazy. And I can't imagine living in a tournament world where they're like, whew, Greg killed him today. He caught over 12 inches. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, man. For sports contract ends. Oh, I think it's Fox Sports contract ends after this season. I think. Interested to see if it renews 10 events again in 2023. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a great question, man. I think that was the MLF. Is MLF in Fox Sports or Bass?
Oh,
it's MLF, I think.
I watch Bassmaster on the online. So,
but again, who watches? I don't watch tournaments on TV. I mean, I don't watch hardly anything on TV anymore, man. I usually use an app or a website or anything, something like that, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I mean, I watch. Like I said, I follow Bass on.
Oh, it's Bass. It's Bass. Yeah. MLF is on the Outboard Network. I got you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, again, I just watch it through the website. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. I mean, but again, like Bass, you're not allowed to watch. If they're broadcasting on Fox, they turn off the web feed. You have to watch it on the Fox Sports app.
So is that like most of the people that are MLF guys? Like, is that your main rub with Bass? Is that they live well at fish?
Who said that?
Well, like Bob was talking about it, and like I'm just wondering, like for guys that like MLF, like is that the draw? You feel like the like conservation of it's better, or like you just like watching them rack up big numbers in terms of just total pounds, or like what's the draw to it?
That's a great question, man. I think it is time for Bass to not have a live weigh-in. I mean, first of all, they're not exciting. I'm not excited about a live weigh-in. And then number two is, I mean, it's not really well attended by any means. And I mean, if you're going to do it one event, do it the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah.
But all the other events, do it, like we do it here, man. You have a marshal, they weigh it, they record it, boom, gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I actually like what they do at Fork, where you can only bring in overs.
Well, I was, speaking of that, I know we're going on a tangent here, but I was talking to Sherman about this. We're talking about, the Florida. Okay, let me just tell you this. I went to a lake in Florida. I'm gonna give you some juice. I went to a lake in Florida that I was told about, and I was for sure I was going to drop 118 on these boys in Florida for the monthly and just walk out the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. 100%. It was going to happen. It was my little goodbye present to you, Florida anglers out there. Like, it's a unknown lake. It's Lake X. I'm even going to tell you this where it's at. I get there, and I was told it was full of hydrilla, and just go out to the middle, and they're stacked out in the middle, which I was super stoked about. I get to the lake, and I'm like, I am not marking a single fish in this lake, like none. And I'm like, I called this person, and I'm like, are you trying to punk me, man? Like, there's a fountain in the middle of this lake, okay? There is no grass, like none. And I was like, are you guys like, this is crazy, man. Like, I'm not marking fish. I'm not seeing any signs of fish. What is going on? Well, apparently they did drain the lake and they nuked it. No grass, no nothing. I was catching 6-inch bass all day long with a Senko.
The Florida special.
Okay. But Florida, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're killing your industry. Like, the Florida Wildlife Management Commission. I was out on another lake, and these airboats were coming in. It's a very good lake. I'm not going to tell you what lake it is because it's full of juice. It's so good. These airboats are coming around with their freaking spray guns, spraying out the hyson and the hydrilla, and they're killing it. Why are you doing this? I mean, it's like Texas, you don't do that. And another thing, too, is you will never see a Texas angler allow another Texas angler to go shiner fishing and fish Lake Fork with shiners. Like, no way, dude. That's so frowned upon.
It doesn't even count.
That's what's happening.
Catch you with a shiner, it doesn't count.
That's what's happening at Fellsmere. And Roland Martin's a big part of this. These shiner guys are destroying Fellsmere, and it's killing me. These shiner boats come in. They're not supposed to be taking their shiners home. They take them home. They're not supposed to be bringing in shiners all this other stuff. They're doing it. There's these guide boats are going out with 500 shiners a day, and these bass are just like honed in on live bait. They have killed Fellsmere when it was a kayak only lake, and you could only bring a kayak in and no boat motors and stuff. It was Jurassic Park. Now it's Shinerville, and it's crazy to me that Florida's allowing this to happen. Stop it. Get some guys in Texas that knows how to manage the bass, knows how to get the lunker program going, and understand that their majority of their industry and their revenue comes from outdoorsmen like us, man, who are after that kind of fishing. It's crazy. Florida, you suck. Stop it.
Man, Nick Audie, I'm gonna have to bring this comment up and address it here. Thinks it's more exciting on MLF. Fair point. That's fine. It takes more skill to always be on fish.
Oh, I disagree.
I'm sorry, man.
I 100% disagree.
Yeah, we're gonna I don't agree with that, and especially with the technology. We've talked about
Bob, your governor's great, but your management, your outdoors management sucks.
Yes,
fire.
That's fact.
Yeah,
that's fact. But I mean,
I disagree, man. Like, it takes more skill to always be on fish. That is not the case, man. It's the quality of fish is what the skill is.
And I'm just gonna say this from my own personal fishing growth or whatever it's been since I've started tournament fishing. I used to throw like a drop shot a ton during tournaments.
Yep.
and I caught tons of fish during tournaments.
Yep.
And I was never remotely close to cashing a check. And when I was talking to a lot of like the top guys, they were like, no, it's 5 bites all day. It's 5 bites all day. And there's just a gigantic difference in knowing how to catch big ones and then just catch numbers. Catching numbers on most lakes is easy. Obviously, you can be like, well, what about Toledo Bend, lol, XD? Yeah, I mean, I didn't catch them there, but I wasn't fishing for dings. I do pretty well on drop shot. Yeah, man. And like, there are fisheries like where that happens. And I'm not like there's anything wrong with the drop shot or that it can't catch big fish. What I'm saying is like, there's a huge difference in fishing for big fish versus numbers. And I do not think the skills necessarily translate as such. I don't think because you catch a lot of numbers, you're necessarily a good fisherman.
I'll give you a prime example. Me and Doug Wilson were fishing on Lake X.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught probably 4-1 fish over what he did. And I was having a good time. 18s, 19s, 20s. Great time. Doug put up 113 inches and 5 fish. Didn't catch nearly the amount of fish I caught. But there's a skill that he has that I just can't see the water like he does. Like, for instance, I was throwing skip and sinkos underneath these grass areas, these grass ledges, and I was smoking them. Doug has his kayak literally parked what looks like on a freaking bank in grass this high with a 2-ounce punching rig punching through this stuff that he can see that it's about 2 or 3 feet deep. There's no chance that I can ever see that. I can't imagine literally parking my kayak up on a bank, dropping it down in gator grass, punching through it, and he's pulling out 23s and 24 inchers. You know what I'm saying? It's It's a skill. I mean, anybody can do it. No, not everybody can do it. If everybody can do it, then they'll be beating Doug Wilson every single month in the monthlies at KBF. There's a skill to this, and he sees it. Like, I don't see how you can literally look at this piece of land and expect there's a freaking 2-foot bass right down there, which looks like you can walk on. It's crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And again, that takes a different skill than I've ever seen. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I just think if you're talking to most guys generally, that's the harder skill to learn. Catching the fish, catching numbers is not the hardest skill. It's how to consistently catch big fish.
I'll give you another example. Here recently happened in Florida. I was fishing with Christine and Guillermo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We were in big fish. We were in a big fish lake. Okay. Brad Case caught, I think, 118 inches in 3 days there, like total. Okay. And it is a big fat fish lake. Okay. And it was known as a frog lake. I'm going out there frog fishing, smoking 18s, 19s, and 20s again, having a great time. Okay. I mean, I'm deep in the pads. I'm, doing my thing. I'm, just pedaling around and throwing up on the bank, coming down, just having a great time. Here's Guillermo. Okay. Off on a point in Kissimmee grass that you can't even see his head in. Okay. He is in the crap of crap, like buckbrush, like stuff that you don't think that's maybe 6 inches of water. Okay. He is just having a great time. He's pedaling around. He's throwing a freaking bait in, and he pulls out a 24 1/4 like this. Like, never been to the lake, dude. Never been to the lake.
Yeah, you can see it on Christine's video, actually.
Yeah, dude. First time there. I just, that's a different skill. Again, those guys see the water differently. That's a different skill. Like, no chance I would have ever been there. No chance.
Guillermo, everybody asks what makes him so good, man. He sees the water like nobody I've ever seen. I do not get it. He just gets in this stuff where I'm like, what are you doing? And then he's like, oh, I caught 112. And I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Well, Guillermo's not doing
16.
That. Guillermo's not doing
16
that.
Fish.
He's not doing that to go catch 12 inchers.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, like Blake, it's funny because we talked about this, and don't laugh at me when I talk about this. Like, we had a discussion: who is the greatest angler that you've ever seen live? You know what I mean? Like for kayak fishing. Did you not ask me that?
I did.
And I said, you asked me, give me your top 3 of guys that I've gone around and seen fish.
Yep.
And without hesitancy, I said Guillermo, and I get it. Like I told you, I get it. Like Guillermo, the way he fishes is so smooth and efficient, and it's just different. Like you can tell, it's just different. That's the word for it, right? And it's just, you could tell that he's set apart. And then I said, obviously, I also fish with Russ Snyder's. Russ, just moves. Russ just covers a bunch of water. I mean, he just goes, and he has a different skill set as well. I mean, I think that's the key to his success is just he covers so much water, efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, my third guy, and believe it or not, and y'all are going to laugh at me, but Conrad Benetti, fishing with him, there's a smoothness about it. Like if you've never fished with Conrad, there is a skill that he has, believe it or not. And we bust his balls all the time.
Yeah.
But Conrad's skill set is apart. It's set apart. And I mean, I just literally just put my rod down and just watch him. Because it's like he just goes, I mean, he always has a bait in the water. And it's like he's always prepared. He's not taking time tying his crap. I mean, it's always prepared. There's always a bait in the water. And this is during tournament time. It's just unique. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's cool.
Yeah, and I mean that's how we got on it. We were talking about how we regionally get to see guys fish, or nationally, you get to fish next to someone that you've heard is really good or whatever. And I was telling you, like, from fishing in Texas and fishing, being fortunate enough to like fish around Guillermo, I was like, it's so hard to explain what makes him so good unless you've seen it. If you fish next to him, you'll get it. And Greg was like, really? And I was like, yeah, just like next time you see, like, you'll do it. And then Greg called me and he was like, dude, I get it. He's like, I totally get it now. And I was like, I know, it's crazy, man.
It's like a guitar player, man. Like, there's guitar players and then there's the Stevie Vaughns. I mean, there's guitar players, you know what I mean? Like these guys play the same instrument and they can play it just so much better. You know what I mean? Like it's just different. That's Guillermo. It's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very cool to see, man. And
yeah, it is, man.
Obviously, y'all can see the damage that it does.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, emotional damage. My wallet damage, mostly going to his.
Yeah, oh yeah. Account. I mean, I'll just go ahead and hand Guillermo my credit card, man.
Yep, that's facts, dude.
That's facts. Dude, great show tonight, man.
It was fun. I can't believe we've been
live. It's an hour and 15 minutes. Are you kidding me?
I know, man.
Flew by.
I think everybody in the chat, man, for participating. It was fun having your input.
Yeah, man. Had a great time. Again, thanks for joining us tonight, man. It was just, we hope to be back next Tuesday and get to talk a little bit more about some tournament fishing and all that stuff going on, man. We get to talk about, kind of preview the KBBT thing, and talk a little bit about the KFL and all that stuff. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah,
Nick.
we didn't even get to review Cato, and I think Greg and I had a bet. We'll just have to cover it next week. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah. We'll cover it next week. Cover it next week.
There's so much stuff we didn't even get to, but we just, that's how the shows go.
That's right. Cato. We didn't even talk about Cato.
I know, but that's how it goes. We start, and then wherever it ends up, y'all are just along for the ride. we always try to keep it on the rails, but it just never works out, man.
You know what? Also, Grand's coming up next weekend. We'll get to talk about Grand.
Oh, what a disaster!
Yeah, well, Grant's coming up, and we get to talk about that, and maybe get a special guest here and there, and we'll kind of maybe we can get somebody to come on and talk about their absolute brutality of Grand.
I just can't wait for the week before you fall us. So we can get Conrad on. We
got to get Conrad on.
And then we have Conrad on afterwards.
We got to get Conrad on, right?
Good.
And preview Eufaula. Yeah. We will get Conrad on previewing Eufaula, no doubt.
And I want Sherman on because Sherman owed us a HiNdSiTe because he had a shitter of a tournament.
He chickened out.
He chickened out.
He absolutely did. And there is a throwdown. Actually, Sherman is the one who convinced Conrad to do it because there's a call out that Sherman had. Sherman called out Conrad, said, look, he'll never amount to anything unless he goes fish these live events. And buddy, it got him fired up.
Hey, good. Hey, that's
good on him. Good on him.
Good on him.
Yeah, man. Next week, guys. Thanks for joining. Take care.